Hello and welcome to Middle Age Geeks. I'm one of your hosts, Daz, and this is my trusty co-host, Phil, a man who once purchased an island the size of a football field, only to burn it to the ground. How are you doing, Philly?
Another true story. I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. Apart from a horrible performance by Man United, apart from that, I am doing quite well. Watching cool stuff this week, and I booked myself a holiday for next month. So it's
very nice. Very nice indeed.
Good.
Going anywhere sunny?
I'm going to see Man United, unfortunately. I'm going over to Portugal to visit our friends, nice. Jenny, and hopefully we go to the United game. And looking forward to going over and seeing them. I've got over the last few years, and I haven't got to get over this year, so it's good to go over and see them and their little kid Hugh and stuff. So it should be good. What about yourself? Any crack?
Not much. I got clamped for the first time in my life today when I was in the cinema. I realised, oh shit, I had signed up to pay something online, and in the rush to get to the cinema, forgot to press proceed with payment. Shit. And I came back to being clamped, which is a fucking nightmare.
It's a pain in the arse.
It's so annoying. Absolutely so annoying. I say in my life, it's like I've been driving for a year and a half, and that'll never happen again. But apart from that, all good. On today's show, on this week's episode, we will be getting into, as usual, what we've been playing and watching. We'll touch on a bit of news, and then we'll get it stuck into our movie review this week. But first and foremost, is there any news that tickle your fancy this week?
So the news my end, there's a couple of cool ones. One is the trailer for Apartment 7A, which looks kind of cool with Julia Garner. So this is like a Apartment 7A is the apartment from Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. So this is like a prequel. I think there is the original and a sequel, and this is like a prequel to it. So that looks kind of cool. That could be one we could do maybe. Yeah, in the future. Now you're onto your horror buzz, and then on the word of horror, did you watch the trailer for the new trailer for The Substance?
No,
I think it looks fucking wild fun, man. It's Demi Moore, and she ends with this substance is this stuff she injects into herself, and because she's an aging star. She was this massive starlet, but she's aging, and so she wants to get, and so she basically, I'm not sure if it creates an alter ego or what the story is, but the younger self then is played by Margaret Qualley, who I absolutely adore. I think she's fantastic. Oh, cool. But the trailer looks mental. It just looks like a lot of fun. So that could be a fun one to do. And I suppose there's no really other news on my end, because I know we've discussed Jurassic Park, which you're going to bring up. The only other thing was that I went to Dublin Comic Con last week, and I forgot to say it. Yeah, I forgot to mention it to you, or to say it on the show that I went to Dublin Comic Con, and it was fucking great crack, man. Because we've spoken on here about the London one that we were at, and
slight letdown.
It's just so much better, man. It's just so like I did take a few little videos of just walking around at the amount of people who make the effort, in costumes, the whole stands, the stuff, the room for the guests, like everything is just such a higher quality, which is I just find that so surprising. But it was just it was great. I bought some cool prints. There's an Irish artist, Colin Griffin. You check him out on Instagram. He really nice chap. I got he's does pens for DC and Marvel and everything. But he did. I got him to sign a cool Superman print, retro style one, and he's doing an 8-page story at the moment for DC, writing it for his Superman story. So I want to check that out. But that was cool. And that's all I have for news on my end.
Super. Yeah, it was the first year that I've missed that Comic-Con, and God, I don't know how long. So we had tickets, and one of my clients in a film shoot got pushed, casually to say, "Oh, it's not next Saturday; it's this coming Saturday." And you're just like, "Oh, you bastards!" Like, not my Comic-Con. Which is and very annoying. But for myself, news wise, Borderlands hit another just milestone. I think it's a milestone. Where it went to streaming less than a month after being in cinemas, which is just I don't know, we'd keep hating on it, but I'll get into Borderlands in what we have watched.
Do you think we should do it? Like, because I mean, we're looking at same movies next week. I think we had Beetlejuice lined up. I think Beetlejuice. Like, it could be a bit of crack to do Borderlands and give everybody a week then to watch Beetlejuice before, so they can listen to the spoiler version. You know,
I think that would be
we'll do it next week for the crack.
Suffice it to say, turned on Borderlands and did not make it very long into it with that very thought in mind. It's just like, we have to, like, I need to watch this with somebody. It's fucking so bad. The other bit of news that jumped out at me was the release date for the new Jurassic World movie, the fourth one in this new kind of revamp called Jurassic World Rebirth, starring Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey. And it's down to come out July next year. And there's a couple of stills from it, which are all well and good. The premise that I read is kind of weird, because it's set 5 years after Dominion. Right. When they say, apparently, and I'm just reading this here, the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs, and those remaining exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the ones in which they once thrived. And the three most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind.
This sounds like a fucking Godzilla versus Kong movie kind of thing, doesn't it? But isn't Gareth Edwards directing this, though?
Yeah, and it's just like, oh my God. Because straight away I was just like, oh, next year, happy days. New kind of cast, happy days. Gareth Edwards, 100%. I love him. He's fantastic. Like, he's still, like, our first movie that we reviewed, The Creator. Love to go back and actually watch that again, because I
have watched it again, it actually is great on a rewatch as well. So I think I said 3.5 at the time, but I think I'd knock it up to a 4, man. I really enjoyed the rewatch. And maybe it's because I have to. Well, I think as well. I think we've had like 9 months of movies afterwards, of special effects and all that kind of stuff to kind of it just made me appreciate it even more, I think.
Absolutely. But reading the description of this just kind of makes you, like, I know Gareth Edwards is brilliant and he'll do a wonderful job, but straight away you're reading it and you're just going, oh no, they're just running out of ideas, and it's getting quite fantastical, because they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with Dominion.
They kind of blew up the island, kind of, pretty much, isn't it?
Exactly. And that is pretty much, that was the only bit of news that kind of jumped out, that and Borderlands. And on that note, we'll get into what we were watching and playing. What were you up to this week?
Well, I watched a few things. The two new things that I watched, one was a movie on Netflix called The Deliverance with Glenn Close.
Wow.
It's a horror movie. I just saw the screenshot with someone screaming. I saw Glenn Close was in it. I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll watch that. Definitely one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's absolutely atrocious. I don't even know why Glenn Close is in it. I just don't get it. It's
What's
fucking,
it about?
It's a whole thing about it. There's religion involved, and it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. It's a terrible movie. Just don't watch it. Then I watched the Watchmen Part 1, the animated thing.
Oh yeah, is it good?
Yeah, like the only thing is I don't really get the point of making it. Like, it's almost, some of it's almost shot for shot for the movie rather than the comic. Like, so similar, and and then you're getting the preview at the end of it as well for the next one, for part 2. And it's like, well, it's not out till next year, 2025. So why? These could easily be released a few months apart. It's already completed. It was weird not to just release it as one whole thing, parts 1 and 2 together. Like, I enjoyed the voice acting. I thought Titus Welliver was great as Rorschach. But I just don't see the point of it. Like, if they weren't going to make something completely new or use some sort of animation we hadn't seen before, well, then I don't really get the point of making this. Like, it's fine. It's still good, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think people are going to be massively interested, because it's not. Wow, look at this crazy dynamic new animation style like you might see with Spider-Man movies or whatever. It's just regular bog standard stuff. It's not overly impressive to look at, and it's not touching on anything new.
Yeah, I remember that from the trailer when I was looking at the trailer, and it's just, when you see the comedian kind of thrown through a window and stuff like that. When Zack Snyder did that it was great because it's taking stuff off the page and you're just like, whoa, it's like, it looks fucking amazing and it's brought to life. And then if you're kind of not so much going backwards, but you're kind of side swiping that and just doing something like matching it pretty much exactly, but in animated form, it's just like, okay, but we've gone through this, like we've been here, we've told the story. It was a bit odd that like if it was something cool like Spider-Verse animation or something like that, where they really kind of, you know, you could watch anything animated like that, whether you've seen another iteration of it in movie form, because it's just it just looks fucking fantastic to watch and you'd eat it up. But
the only other thing that I watched was I had watched the first episode of this like when it came out a few years ago, and then for some reason I don't know why I put it down. I got back into watching Yellow Jackets, and I ended up watching the full 2 seasons of it.
wow!
It's I love it, man. It's just it's so weird, which I love, but it's got some fantastic performances in it. Like for me, Christina Ricci is my absolute favorite. She's amazing in it. I absolutely love her in it. Melanie Linsky's in it. She's fantastic. Juliette Lewis. Like it's got good cast, and it's kind of it's the way it is. It's set like back. They've had a plane crash when they were like a teenagers football team crash in the wilderness, and then we get to cuts to what's to present day, and all the shit they had to endure in the wilderness. And it's got a supernatural vibe to it, and it's gory as fuck. Like it's real. Like I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure how well it reviews or what, but I really, really enjoyed it, and it's getting a 3rd season, which is cool. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'd definitely
how many
recommend
episodes
that.
are in each season?
I think it was 9, which is grand. Like I mean, that's not too bloated, and but it's enough to tell a story. But it's just good performances. Elijah Wood's in the 2nd season, and he's class.
Cool.
It's definitely worth a watch if you're looking for something to check out. That's something. Give it a go. I'm quite late to the party myself, but looking forward to keeping up with it now as it comes out. The next season, I think, is next year. So not too far to go. But yeah, that's me. What about yourself?
Watching, or what I've watched, as 2 ends of the spectrum here. I've touched already on Borderlands when I was just kind of flying around on a Fire Stick and saw that it was there on one of the movie apps. I was like, ooh, I'll give it a fuck. I'll just try it. When it's almost just like stabbing yourself in the eye with a pencil very slowly. I'll just see how much it hurts, and put it on. And I don't know if we spoke on here about this. Maybe we did with Rebel Moon. When movies start with this just exposition dump of setting the world up rather than just starting and just letting you figure it out and giving you little bits or just, and it starts with Lilith talking about everything about the world, about this, about the vault, about the ancients and this and that. And it's a fucking minute and a half of just like, oh, fucking, will you just start? And then straight away it starts kind of into one of those, like for Kevin Hart breaking Tina out of prison, something like that. And it's just such an awful scene. But then within minutes they go to that wide shot of a kind of planet with the big titles and cool song playing, and it's just like scraping the dregs off the Guardians of the Galaxy barrel.
Yeah, like
just
the
like,
trailer
this would be cool.
Smacked of that, like the trailer really smacked of Guardians.
Yeah, and straight away, just I think I got about 4 or 5 minutes into it. I was just like, I can't. I really can't. I could just have a 10-minute nap or something instead. It's but yeah, straight away I was thinking what you were saying. I was like, oh, I think we have to do this because it was like fucking 4 or 5 minutes and like really excruciating to try and watch that much. So that was horrendous. And on the other end of the spectrum, it was like, we're recording this on Sunday. On Saturday was National Cinema Day, which I didn't really know was a thing too much. I know we've done stuff in the past where we've gone to this, this old movies come back into IMAX or Cineworld or something like that, and it's only €5 or something. I've done that, but yesterday, friend Gavin just let me know, he said like Terminator 2 is back in cinemas. I was like, yes, 100%. Even though I still had to see the movie that we're reviewing this week, which meant today was a clusterfuck trying to squeeze that movie in. About 20 minutes late for it.
Yeah, just like you didn't have all week to fucking go and see it.
No, yeah, I left everything to the last fucking minute. Unbelievable. I just didn't plan on Terminator 2 being part of my weekend. And
so raged I couldn't go.
Fucking, oh man, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like so many memories going back to like 1991. I was 12 at the time, and it's one of the first movies I snuck into. And I remember, sometimes you remember like specific memories like so acutely, and it's just so vividly. I remember the feeling of like, instead of going into cinema 3, just kind of darting across to 1 and sneaking in and hiding from the guy coming in with a torch. And yeah, it's astonishing. Like at the end of it, just smiling. It's like, it's not a comedy, but you've been grinning for like 2 hours plus. That it's just, your mouth's just fucking sore. It's just a perfect fucking movie. And Gavin had never seen it on cinema. Oh yeah, that's
the cinema.
Yeah. How are your friends?
Like, I'm pretty sure I might have even spoken to Gavin about this movie.
Yeah. But it's just sublime. Just the music, and it ages so well. There's a couple of dodgy kind of car shots with the projection backgrounds of streets and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that was kind of dodgy at the time. It just wasn't really fucking great. But some of the T1000 stuff still really holds up. When he comes up from the checkered floor, is still flawless.
Oh yeah.
And that part in the furnace place at the end where the puddle, where he rises up out of the puddle, and the reflection still just looks, could be a little fluffy around the edges or whatever, but it's still absolute mastery. And it was fucking, I got a little choked up towards the end. I was like, oh, is this going to hit again? It's just like, I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do. I was like, oh, Jesus, Arnie. I haven't seen you in a good movie in fucking decades.
I've seen you about 17 other fucking Terminator movies, though.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of really knowing what's coming.
But that's it. You have this emotional goodbye to this amazing character. Sorry, spoilers for Terminator 2, anybody know?
Yeah.
And then fucking straight away, they fucking stick him into every movie after that. He's in fucking Rise of the Machines. He's just,
Yeah, right. But it does make you, like, you could fucking chat about this movie for hours, and at some point down the line we must do something on the Terminator franchise, like we did with the Alien one, because it's there's such highs, and the first and second movie, again, like Aliens, is such different movies in the same universe, but like coming from different angles.
James Cameron,
but yeah, that was
both sequels.
Fucking hell, he's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, the perfect movie, absolute masterpiece. And what I played, I had a whole bit ready on what I didn't play, which was Star Wars Outlaws, which was just,
I didn't pick it up either.
So disappointed all week that I didn't really fucking play anything. I was just so down. We were talking last week about really wanting to get stuck into a single player game, even if it was just an 8 out of 10. But some of the reviews, like, it's still like 70% in Metacritic or something like that. But some of the reviews, like I told you about, like Greg Miller on Kind of Funny, who like tore it to shreds, and he loves open world games, he loves Ubisoft games, he loves Far Cry and Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. And he said it's trying to be everything, and it's just a poor imitation of every different kind of game mechanic that makes those games so good. Right. So I was so down on that for ages, but I was trying to you're trying to just. It's like when FIFA would come out and FIFA would get like a 6 out of 10, and you just be like, but I bet you maybe it's good, because you just want to give yourself a reason to buy it. And there's no way I was going to spend 80 fucking euros on this game that's getting an okay to bad kind of review across the board. But then someone on What Culture Gaming said, if you have an Xbox, you can go on Ubisoft Plus Premium, their monthly subscription thing, which I didn't really know was a fucking thing, for like 15 euros. You can get any game, and it includes Outlaws. And I was like,
all right,
maybe will I take a plunge? And 15 euros is a lot better than 80 euros. So I got it, but it's Xbox Series S. So I mean, I'm not going to comment on the graphical fidelity or quality of it, because Series S can't. Everything looks fucking shit on it. But yeah, I played 2 hours last night until 3 a.m. Just decided to do it at 12:30, and then I had to wait half an hour for it to download. I played it for 2 hours, and it's not. It's like if you review a movie you watched on Netflix as opposed to the cinema, you're going to be a little easier on the one on Netflix because you're not spending a shitload of money on it. So it's not bad for 2 hours. It's it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's
you're not selling me an 80 quid game here. That's
no. It's but it's good. Like it's one of the main things that I thought that we would have loved if it was a really good game. That it's so much more of a stealth based game than they let on. Like it's probably 80% of it is all stealth, but the stealth mechanics are so fucking basic, and the AI is fucking horrendous. Like you literally stand there. Like if somebody sees you, and you're hiding behind a corner, if somebody sees you, the whole base gets on alert within seconds. But then there's other moments where people are standing in front of you, shooting at you, and they can't see you because you're in the wrong fucking detection box or something, and they're just shooting at nothing. And where is she? And you're standing right in front of them. It's it falls apart quite impressively on the technical level. And it's a lot of these things there's a lot of bugs and stuff with the game, and it has glitched out a few times. But it is a lot of the stuff that you can't fix with patches is just the actual game design is a bit shoddy. But I'm looking forward to playing more of it. There's a speeder bike and you get to fly around planets and stuff. Kind of cool. But yeah, don't buy it.
I'm not buying it. I'll get it in the fucking PlayStation monthly free game at some point.
Game's under a tenner or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's everything we have watched and played this week. So let's get on to our movie review this week, which is Zoe Kravitz, Blink Twice. Take it away, Philly.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah, this week is, as Daz said, it's Blink Twice. It's just after coming out. Was it last week or this week? And it's directed by Zoe Kravitz. She also wrote it as well with E.T. Feigelbaum. And the synopsis is: when a tech billionaire Slater King meets cocktail waitress Frida at his fundraising gala, he invites her to join him and his friends for a dream vacation on his private island. Wild nights soon blend into sun-soaked skies. But when strange things start to happen, Frida must uncover the truth if she hopes to make it out alive. So for those of you at home, what we'll do is, who haven't seen or don't know the skinny on how we do the show, we will do a spoiler-free chat about it, give it our star rating, and then we will move on then to the spoiler section. So go on, Taz, what were your initial thoughts on it?
I was kind of confused towards the end of this movie as to how or to what I thought of it. For the most part, I thought it was very well directed for Zoe Kravitz for a directorial debut. It's just like, oh, fucking, you know what you're doing. It looked fantastic. The performances were pretty good from kind of the main three leads and Channing Tatum. Story-wise, it's hard to talk about without spoilers, but when they get to this island, there's a good kind of 20 minutes where they're just, hey, we're having a good time. Hey, we're still having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of get going. But then when it gets going, it gets quite fucking gnarly pretty quickly.
I wonder on rewatches would that hit differently? That kind of, why is this the dragon? Why are they purposely dragging this thing out? It's day after day of party, and I'm sure if you rewatched it, that will make sense then,
Like tonally, I think she does a wonderful job of moving between tones. Quite funny at times and very kind of upsetting at other times. But there's that undercurrent of like something is amiss, the creepy kind of cleaner stuff, which one hand could be kind of hokey and tropey or whatever, but on the other hand, it does work that they're having fun, and you're just like, oh, this doesn't really feel good at all. And because I went into this where I hadn't even seen a poster, you just told me the name of it. Didn't even know Zoe Kravitz directed it. I just hadn't seen a poster, hadn't seen a trailer, just like Blink Twice, just like, oh, is this a sci-fi thing? I have fucking no idea.
What the fuck is he sending me into?
Yeah, exactly. And actually in the Odeon I went to see it today, they hadn't changed the posters, so outside screen 4 where it was on, I had the crow, and that enough was just whoa, PTSD like. But what were your thoughts coming straight out of it? Enjoy it?
But I had seen the trailer a couple of times, and I kind of figured for between the trailer and the first little bit of it, the first maybe half, 20 minutes or so, I kind of knew what was going on, but I wasn't sure. Based on the trailer, I had a rough idea what he was trying to do, which she was trying to do, but I wasn't sure how they were going to get there. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure what the reason was for what was going on.
Do they show a lot in the trailer?
Well, they talk about her. They kind of just show Ali Shawkat. I don't know if I get her name wrong. Her saying, well, something is wrong here, and it's just don't you feel like something is wrong? And then when we get to the spoiler section, I can talk about it more. But I kind of picked up on it quick enough. I was like, oh, okay, this is obviously the vibe. But how they get there, I wasn't totally mad on. Like what the, why it's so sinister and all the rest of it. And
I think
it's difficult to talk about it.
Falls apart, but it's not that it's kind of implausible, and it doesn't make sense that if your end goal was what they're kind of doing on this island, that you would go this way to get there. It just seems very convoluted and it just seems odd. But I must say, and I guess we can get into it in spoilers, but when I arrived, and going to we watched this obviously separately, and we've been going to local cinemas rather than IMAX or Cineworld, and you're so programmed into it's okay if the movie's on at 20:08, you get, or if it's on at 8, you get there 20 past, doesn't matter, you're going to probably walk in when it's starting because there's trailers and ads and stuff. And every movie I've seen in the Odeon, I've been either in the wrong cinema or the wrong screen or I've been late. This is all 4 of them. And in this one, I heard Empire Magazine doing a review of it earlier today on the way home, and they were mentioning things that I hadn't seen at the start, and I was just like, oh, okay, I haven't, because when I missed the Crow last week, you're like, did you not see this, and this? I was like, no. So I walked into this at the gala event where they meet.
Okay. So, well, there's not a massive amount
not too much.
That.
Okay.
I'll go into it when we get to it.
Yeah. But yeah, because when I went in straight away, I was thinking, Jesus, they're starting pretty quick. They met and they're going to the island within fucking 2 minutes. I'm just like, no, I probably missed a fair bit of this.
But actually, because I was going to ask you at the very start, because this isn't a spoiler for anybody listening, at the very start, obviously these movies are all age-rated appropriate for the content. But there's actually a trigger warning that comes up on the screen at the start, and an additional warning to the age thing, specifically that she put into the movie, that flashes up to warn people about the thing that there's specific X, Y, and Z content in this movie that may be triggering for some people, and then we go into the movie. But
wow, all right.
That's what age ratings are for, and I think it comes back to something we've spoken about before, which is this coddling of people. I was watching something recently, and in the top left corner, when it comes up and says nudity or violence, it said smoking references. Fuck off!
Come on,
people
man.
Need to be. Do people really need to be warned? They're going to be triggered by someone having a smoke. You know what I mean? It's
this movie features just left-handed people. Whoa, fuck.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's like the Ricky Gervais bit about talk about it. Does the dog die? Website where people go and find out does the movie, does anything bad happen, and it started off, does the dog die, because people just don't want to see animals being hurt, but then it's gone into fucking everything under the sun now, to fucking from misgendering to fucking broken toenails. It's fucking anything and anything anybody might be offended by, there needs to be a warning. I don't know why, but that's why we have age ratings on these things. It was just weird to me to put that up on the as a whole extra opening warning. I really hope that doesn't set a trend or a precedent. I'm an adult. I'm well above the age limit there is to see this movie, and so is anybody else who's gone to see it. So we don't need another fucking warning. We're grown-ups. It's just I thought that was weird. But I thought it was cool. I guess for me, it felt a little. She was aiming for Jordan Peele kind of stuff.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, that's kind of the feeling I got for it. Was you're kind of aiming. It's like that movie, Bad Times at the El Royale. Yeah. And you can see I forget who directed it, but he's aiming for Tarantino and missing, but he's aiming for it. Similar music, similar time jumps, that kind of thing. It's trying to be slick. Tarantino does that effortlessly. And this was kind of forced. And that's what I felt when I watched it. It's a fine movie. It's just it was trying. And I felt like a little bit like that. She was that it was trying to go for that Jordan Peele vibe, but not quite pulling it off.
Even down to just how it looked, the kind of tone, the kind of edits, the sound design. Straight away I was just like, this is trying to be Get Out, and it's not that it completely misses the mark. It's just you're reminded of a movie while watching a movie. Very like throughout, was constantly reminded of
better movie.
Get Out. Yeah. Which was like it's a good movie to aim for. It's a good style to aim for, but it does kind of takes you out of it a little bit when it's that glaringly obvious. But
but it's got a lot of good things. I suppose we'll give our star rating before we move down into the spoiler section. But I'm not sure about yourself, but like I did enjoy it. I didn't walk out of it going, ugh. I enjoyed it despite the fact that it does kind of lose itself a little bit. The performances were great. Like I only know Naomi Aki, the main actress, I guess. I don't know her from much. I know she was in a really bad movie called what was it? Oh yeah, Rise of Skywalker. And that's the only thing I know her from. But like, I thought her performance was great. I thought Ariana Arjona, I'm going to get her name wrong multiple times. Adria Arjona, I think it is. And Channing Tatum were great. It was cool to see Haley Joel Osment in something. It was, and then even the small part that Kyle MacLachlan has in it. It was fun to see actors like that, and they seem to be having a lot of fun with it. And I think she's very competent. Like, this is your debut effort at directing. Fucking fair play. I'm dying to see what else she has. What else is to come from Zoe Kravitz if she's going to get into
absolutely, because she seemed to like come out of nowhere. Suddenly she's in the Batman and fucking killing it, and then it's a directorial debut, and I think it's maybe like a 3-star film to me, but more so from her point of view. You're just going, it's just very competent, and I loved like everything around it. Like, I thought it was edited very well, and it looks fantastic. Obviously, locations play a part, but it looks great. Rich colors, and she gets there's something to that. Like I keep talking about tone, where it's this kind of jovial, happy tone and buzz where they get to the island, and then how she kind of seeps in. It's not just like, ooh, things are creepy. It's just, it's ever so slightly just kind of turning the knob that like, things might be amiss, but you don't know how they'd be amiss because, we'll get into that. But,
I'd agree. I think, it's like, I'd give it 3, but like a good 3. Like it's, the music is great. Movie. It looks great. Like it's worth it for it being a very well made movie, even if it does kind of lose itself along the way a little bit with some of the stuff, which we'll get into now. But yeah, I'll go with 3 as well. Like, I'd recommend it. Definitely recommend it for someone to watch, whether you go and see it in the cinema or wait till it comes on streaming. It definitely gets a recommend from me and from you, I assume.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, look, you're being warned now, guys. We're moving on now to the spoiler section, and we'll just kind of blaze through the plot. So, as I said at the start, with the island and all the rest of it is owned by Channing Tatum, but Daz, I'll fill in the gaps for you at the start. So it's at the start we just see that Ali Shawkat and Naomi Kyle. So Naomi Aki is Frida, and Jess is Ali Shawkat, because I'm just going to call them by their character names from now on. And Jess and Naomi, or Jess and I get it wrong straight away. Jess and Frida live in this fucking shithole apartment, and we see that Frida's kind of doom scrolling through like TikTok or Instagram or whatever the fuck, and she's just kind of skipping, and then she comes across this Slater King video, which is Channing Tatum's character, and we don't know what he's done, but apparently he's stepping out of the spotlight. So apparently he's, there's some sort of controversy around him, and he's decided that he's stepping out of the spotlight. And you're like, okay, he's some millionaire stepping out of the spotlight. We don't really get much more than that. And then that's when you probably got it as Frida and Jess are working at this gala as servers, and Frida smuggles in dresses for the two of them, and they basically crash the party. So I'm not sure where was that around where you.
Just actually when her and Channing were chatting, where she just met him.
Okay, well, this is what happens. They broke it in, and they've kind of just having the crack, just wandering around the place and hobnobbing with people in this gala, like in a place they just don't belong, because they should be serving drinks. You even see one of the other servers that work with them look at them. So I'm going, how the fuck? What is she doing walking around here? But yeah, how she meets him, she ends up fucking breaking her heel. Frida breaks her heel, and Channing Tatum comes over and he kind of breaks the other heel off, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw someone do that in a movie once. So I always wanted to do it." And so they just hang out and meet their gang, and she's obsessed with him. She's fucking, telling Ali Shawkat, "Oh my god, can you believe it? I think he's flirting with me." And like, you're at the start, you kind of get like, as you said, they do kind of lead into the thing quite well, because everybody's gone from the gala and it's just him and his couple of buddies and a few girls and our two main female characters all sitting on the steps of, kind of an after party of it. And it's real, it seems serious chemistry between Frida and Slater King. And I wasn't sure then. I was like, oh shit, okay. I wasn't sure at that point. I think they did a really good job of setting up what's uncovered later on, because I had no idea. I didn't feel any sort of prior thing with them. It was real, genuine chemistry. You know what I mean? Like, she felt, oh my god, I can't believe this guy is this fucking, famous billionaire guy is flirting with me. And I thought he pulled off the real kind of fuddled kind of, fumbling over his own words a little bit and stuff. It felt really genuine.
Absolutely, yeah. He wasn't playing. Someone's playing against type. He wasn't playing the suave fucking tech billionaire. It was kind of like, I'm a tech billionaire, but it's a little bit awkward around women, even though he's Channing Tatum. And I thought he was really good in this. And straight off their chemistry and just the dialogue, just like straight away, you're just going like, yeah, I'm along for the ride here. It's very natural.
It is, yeah. I thought so too, yeah. And I think the way he kind of gets her, he kind of says, "Okay, well, look, we have to head off," and it's obviously all the setup. But he's like, "We have to head off," and he says he walks off and he comes running back. And he goes, "Listen, we're going back to my island. I told you guys, do you want to come? You want to come to my island?" And he has a private jet, and they're like, "Fuck it, yeah, let's go," because we can get you clothes and everything else there. We're just going for a couple of days, and yeah, so they fucking they offline and fucking plane to the island, and it's. Again, at the start, you're still not entirely sure, because there's these other girls there, and I had assumed at the start that they're all mates of his, because that's the way he kind of presents it. Or something. Yeah, all that these two girls are the only kind of blow-ins, and that everybody else are kind of mates. One guy's calling Adria Arjona babe. I was like, oh, they must be married or whatever. So it's real. It felt like those were the two outsiders, and they fly into the island. They take their phones, and I love this as an opening thing. In movies where they have to at some point show the name of the movie in order for it to be kind of like trademarked. And there's a famous one, I think, at the end of Apocalypse. It's at the very end, or towards the end of Apocalypse Now, because Apocalypse Now has no title screen. Yeah. And towards the end, it's someone holding up a sign, like one of the Vietnamese kids almost holding up a sign, something. And it's just because it has to be in the movie. And for this, they all get together and they take a Polaroid, and the Polaroid flash, and it just flashes up, blink twice, and then disappears. Yeah. And that's your thing. And I thought that was really cool. It's only there for a split second. Yeah. But I thought that looked really cool. But yeah, it's a cool kind of intro. Where were you up to this part? Were you kind of wondering where, because I had seen the trailer a couple of times. Where were you now at this point?
I had a clue, because
any idea where it's going to go?
None whatsoever. Like when I walked into, like, when it was the gala thing and they were chatting to each other, and he's dressed up and she's obviously in a dress. I had like True Lies kind of vibes. I was just like, is this a fucking spy thriller? Just like, it's like a mystery movie kind of thing. So yeah, when they got to the island, kind of got a sense of, right, okay, so this is something about a story of something that's gone wrong on the island. But I didn't know, was it going to be within this group, or is it like pretty quickly when you get the creepy cleaner thing? I was just like, right, okay, are they all going to be murdered on this island by cleaners? Where the fuck is this going? Is the island evil? What's happening?
We're going in with two totally different outlooks, because I had seen the trailer. And if you watch the trailer back, obviously now you know what I'm on about.
It makes sense. Yeah. But it was kind of refreshing that way, where you really were like, when something happened to them or when they experienced something, I was experiencing it exactly at the same time, which is kind of strange in this day and age when even if you don't watch a trailer, you've probably seen the trailer, online somewhere. You're always seeing screen grabs of something. Those
YouTube things that you can't click past, YouTube ads.
Yeah, exactly.
But So anyway, they get there, and like this place is absolutely gorgeous, big, huge kind of it's gorgeous island. The setting is absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure where. I must check the shooting location, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And this big, huge house with a big open lawn and woods and all this kind of stuff. And when they get there, they find that like they each have their own rooms. There's outfits laid out for them. Everybody dressed in white. There's perfume for them and all this kind of shit. And yeah, I suppose it's here is when they kind of first meet the creepy maid who doesn't speak any English. And yeah, straight away you're like, okay, what's she fucking up to? And she starts saying to her like, red rabbit. Your one's like, I've no idea what you're talking about. Like, good luck.
Stop being creepy.
Stop being creepy. I'm out of here. And so she goes, and they're all just having fun by the pool. Everybody's fucking smoking joints, and this is where we start getting properly introduced to the rest of the crew.
Yeah,
and I loved the blonde girl who's just fucking stoned
the whole movie. Fucking brilliant. Like constantly looking for a lighter. Has anyone got a lighter? She's like total stoner. Like, well, how do you not have a fucking lighter? The only one writing fucking spliffs.
She's just absolutely banged, just stoned the whole way. But I thought she was great. Like, the movie has some really good comedy in it. I found like some great timing, comedy timing, and then just having a character like that. And also your man's name, who I fucking didn't write down, but the guy who keeps calling Adriana Hona, who keeps calling her babe. I thought he was funny as well because just shit kept happening to him. Like,
But Cody.
Yes, was it Cody? Was it?
Yeah.
Cody. Yeah, it was Cody. Sorry, and and she's Sarah. She is ridiculous. She's
amazing. But yeah, like you were saying, I loved the way at the start where you get a sense from kind of looks from Sarah as Slater and Frida are kind of, the chemistry is obviously very much on show, and you don't really know the relationship of Sarah and Channing Tatum. I just thought like, are they together? And is this kind of love triangle? Or she's getting really jealous or something like that. So it's interesting when it plays out later on when you realize, that none of them really know each other.
Yeah. Like, it's the same, isn't it? Because it starts off, she's Frida is seeing Slater came with Sarah, and then the same thing, Sarah's, and it's just it's both of them vying for this guy's affection. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And it's not for a while, and she draws it out well. It's not drawn out to the point of they took too long to tell us, or they gave the farm away too soon. It's done quite well. And yeah, so we started about in this later, and then we see as he's telling her about the place, he's talking about all these new plants that are there that aren't in other parts of the world and all this kind of stuff, and they're making a big deal about that. They're putting flowers on them and all this kind of shit. And then we see the gardeners killing these snakes, so killing these big ass fucking yellow snakes, and they're like, well, what the fucking story is that? And they say, oh, there's some sort of problem. We have like their place is overrun with them or whatever. I can't remember what excuse they give. You saw it an hour ago or something, Daz. What excuse did they give for killing the snakes?
Fucking hell, I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
I remember at that point when I was just wondering, what are snakes going to be a big part of this movie? Why are they talking about the plants and snakes? Something they were just dangerous. That's what I thought anyway. Was it more elaborate?
Yeah. Well, that's how I started to pick up then on because it reminded me a little bit of Old, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. There was kind of a little few similarities with how they were kind of going with it and the stuff he was talking about. Anyway, these snakes are getting fucking bagged up by the gardener and the old lady are both seem to be killing them and putting them in sacks and getting rid of them. And yeah, so they're all having. This is kind of the first part where we see a little bit of a. Oh, what the hell? Or that Frida has the first. Oh, what the hell is going on here? Because they're having dinner and she spills some meat juice basically on her dress at dinner, and then they end up fucking going out. They're taking drugs, and they're all just fucking tripping balls. It looks like the most fun I've ever seen in my whole life.
It's fucking so good.
It God, yeah. If there's anything I miss from my 20s, it's hallucinogens, man. Fucking.
Yeah.
So
But she
much
films
fun.
it really well, where they're all just like sitting around laughing and then just look like
Yeah.
one guy just looking at a fucking pineapple, just going, "Oh my god, this fucking pineapple!" Just lying on the grass, just going, "Been there, buddy." It's
Yeah.
fucking
But that's
brilliant.
it. It's people are going from like being obsessed with each other
Yeah,
to obsessed with the planet and all this kind of stuff. And it looks like
it's
they're
great.
having the absolute crack. But it's kind of the next day when she wakes up and she still has her outfit on, but this time it's white again. There's no,
it's
the
no
stain is
stain.
gone. What the hell's gone? But then it's basically the same stuff happening the next day. Like they keep, Jess keeps her lighter keeps going. They keep having this thing where it's, anyone see my lighter? Anyone see my lighter? And her lighter just keeps going missing over and over again. And so these are the first kind of things we have of, okay, what exactly is going on here? Is it, it's something out to get them? Is the island doing this to them? What exactly is it?
I loved that. Loved the ambiguity of that, where you're kind of go, something is amiss, but it's, well, for me, like, I hadn't a fucking clue. Just, it's those little things where, does anyone see my lighter? And someone else has a lighter every day, and it's just like, what is fucking happening here? Is this, is there gaps in people's timelines? Something is. Is very much. I thought it was very clever.
Yeah, and they're all kind of seeing, and they're all seeing. They seem a little bit more jaded as well. You know what I mean? Like if it as well, that as if it's been going on for. As if they've just had about fucking 10 nights like this in a row. They seem more jaded. You can see Sarah looks visibly fucking hungover in one of them. And it just seems to happen the same thing. But like, again, then the next thing she discovers is like dirt under her fingernails. And when she wakes up one in the mornings, Frida, and it's like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then the snakes finally come into it. While they're all, I think it's while they're all off their heads. Jess gets bitten by a snake and she starts to freak out. She's like, oh, there's something going on here. And this is the part from the trailer when she was like, this isn't right. We need to go home. So she starts freaking out. She wants to go home. She's scared of all the people who are just super fucking happy and having a great time. And she knows there's something wrong, doesn't quite know what it is. But Frida doesn't want to leave because Frida's just having the fucking time of her life. She's flirting with this billionaire. And yeah, I think like this is their kind of first introduction to it, kind of when it starts to get ramped up, because Ali Shaka, because there's no way it's not going to spread, or she's not going to start talking to people or saying to the gang, what the fuck is going on? What the hell is going on here? But she knows she's having these flashes and she knows something is wrong. And then Frida doesn't want to leave, and Ali or Jess is kind of, she guilt trips basically Jess into staying. Like Jess is like, we have to leave, and she's like,
and
no.
That was so believable, I think, as well. Like, like these kind of moments always happen in movies, and it's always played in a way that it's not quite believable. We're just going, oh, look, something is obviously fucking amiss. You would leave, but in this, you could see why you would stay. And even if there was, that stuff that you saw with the cleaner and the kind of stain, you're kind of going, you're living in paradise with these fucking, with a billionaire. You're kind of going, and taking drugs every day and having wine and gorgeous food, kind of going, well, let's just hang around. Like, there's nothing too alarming that's screaming at me, get off the fucking island. Not yet, anyways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I suppose, obviously for Jess, and Ali Shaka plays it really well. She's genuinely terrified because she doesn't quite know. She's having these flashes, doesn't know what's going on, but she knows this place is bad and they need to get out of there. But of course, when they all arrive at the island, Gina Davis had taken.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. She had taken everybody's phones at the start, and she's your man Slater King's sister. But yeah, so they've fucking taken all their phones. So she just, there's no way even to contact the outside world, even if they wanted to. So she's just like, okay, look, I read this. I would stay if it was you, kind of thing, and I'm here and I need this. And basically she wants to get a ride off a millionaire. That's basically it. But yeah, so anyway, the next morning, Frida's out walking and she finds this like red gift bag on the ground, and she goes to find out where it is, and she walks into this room and finds there's loads of these gift bags around the place, and this is where we meet the crazy maid again. Yeah. And the maid obviously not as creepy as first thought because she's kind of a good guy.
Still has a weird fucking smile though. It's just like
she does. Yeah. Well, I mean, look,
so creepy.
All women are creepy. And, sorry to any old women listening or watching the show. But yeah, so she basically hands her this bottle of stuff, and it's basically snake venom. That's what she's been getting from. So it's only after she kind of takes a drink of it and sees that your one has been basically taking venom from these snakes. And she gives her basically a shot of it, and she fucking drinks it, and it's the most fucking disgusting thing she's ever tasted.
Yeah.
But then later on, the boys go on the boat, and the girls are kind of staying behind, and Frida comes up and she starts to freak out because she can't find Jess. And when she starts talking to the girls, they're all like, "Who the fuck is Jess?"
Yeah,
and none of them
really
remember.
cool.
And she's like, "Yeah," and it's great because they're all looking around. No,
who the fuck is Jess?
No idea. And she's like, and she says to the lads as well, like, "Where is Jess, my friend?" She's like, there's just the, or no, I think it's Gina Davis. She says it. Gina Davis is like, "No, there's just a storage room and that bed. There's no bedroom there." And she goes running to the room where Jess was staying, and sure enough, it just has a bunch of old furniture and stuff in it. And so she starts freaking out. What the hell is going on? She smacks off the mirror, and next thing a knife falls down. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" Nobody else remembers Jess. What's that fucking knife doing there? And then she speaks to Sarah, and Sarah kind of feels that, yeah, maybe there is something going on here too. She's like, I feel like, because she's like, and she's like, there's nothing. I don't feel like nothing's wrong. I'm having a good time, but she's like, but at the same time, I'm not really sure what it is. And so she goes, I do have this bruise on my arm, and I'm not sure how I got it. And she goes, oh, well, I had dirt on my fingernails, etc., etc. She goes, somehow they're making us forget. They made us forget Sarah. They're making us forget stuff. And she goes, well, I'm starting to remember stuff now. So she goes, look, I drank this and it helps. So she gives her some of the snake venom stuff as well. And then Sarah drinks that. And then they play it so well because they drink and they're actually starting to remember, and they're terrified, but they're trying to act real cool around the other girls who don't remember.
They're acting cool while being in absolute terror. In a terror scenario is fucking brilliant, because that's another.
It's really good acting
in movies when it's just like, oh, you're in a room with a killer and he doesn't know or something like that, and people start acting like, oh, hello, they just act like you wouldn't act. Where they have to remind themselves to kind of emote, because they're just kind of still looking around, and then you can see the thought process. Oh no, smile, no, everything's fine. But when they go to that fake smile or whatever, it's exactly like a real reaction where you're like, the person would not be alarmed to like, oh, they obviously know because they're acting really fucking weird. They're not. They're just. I thought the two of them were fantastic. From here on to the rest of it, the two of them were brilliant.
Yeah, me too. Really, me too. I thought they were great. Like, and there's what they decide to do with it is this, to get the other girls to drink the venom so everybody can remember, and so they get that stuff and they spike it. They spike the tequila shots, because the other two girls, the stoner girl and the other girl, whose name I forget, are just full on fucking party animals. And so they're like, so they just start doing a rake of shots. Gina Davis comes in, they get her to do a shot as well, and so they're all fucking hammered. And then so Frida takes this opportunity to go and try and find their phones. And while she comes up at Arjona, they have like a what their passcode about fat blunts. Like, we need to have a code word for the lads come back, and she's like, fat blunts. The thing is, Frida's in fucking smacking, right, making loads of noise, trying to break this lock. She can't hear it, and Sarah is having this conversation with Channing Tatum with Slater King, and she just fucking keeps screaming about fat blunts. It's difficult to describe the scene, but it's really, really funny. Like, so the lads have come back. She can't hear this cleared, and then she ends up finding loads of photos, because obviously the Polaroid camera again, as you said, does get out. We have that same kind of thing. So she's finding loads of photos, and again she starts having flashbacks. She's hiding from Tating, from Slater King in the office, and she starts having flashbacks about what happens with her knocked out. And she realizes that Jess got killed because she got bitten by the snake. She was remembering, and she remembers then that they killed Jess on front of her.
Vicious.
And it's vicious. Yeah. It's almost split second, her death. But man, it's visceral. Like, it's fucking
snapping her neck, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And it's so fucking horrifying. Like she's just, and as well as her, she then has no idea, and neither do we. We have no idea how long ago Jess was killed. Because how many nights have they been knocked out? Was Jess killed a week ago, a month ago? We don't know how long at this point.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. That must be so scary for her. And then she's fucking probably wondering, okay, well, what happens if they do it to us again? Do we get knocked out again? And so they're sitting around having dinner, and they're trying to, act normal. But then she starts to remember more, and then we start to see what it was that happened. And this is obviously what the trigger warning was for at the start of the movie, because the flashbacks are it's sexual assault, it's rape. You know what I mean? That's what's happened. Like the girl that Cody keeps calling Babe, Sarah. Like you see him full on raping her. They're using violence against them. It's full on attacking, beating, all sorts of fucking
just doing
stuff,
whatever they want with them.
Yeah, just doing whatever they want. They're just psychopathic dickheads, and they're just treating these women like fucking like they're nothing, And it's they have also it's gas because they have this guy with them who's like he's like a Marine, and he's kind of like the head of security, and are really reminding me of that movie. I think it's called The Farm. It's like a comedy horror like that, and they have a guy with them. They basically hunt other humans, and they have this kind of guy with them, and it's like that. He's just rolling his eyes like, these guys are up to it again. He doesn't seem to be getting involved in any of it, but he still knows. He's still complicit, and it's just that makes him even fucking worse in some ways.
Yeah, he's just sitting in a chair, just off screen to the right, just going about his business. Just watching this happen. No problem.
Yeah, just happened. How many nights in a row? Awful. How many different people have come back to this island, and this has happened to them? But again, the girls have to act normal, and it's just such a great because they're all sitting around the scene, and the other girls start remembering as well. And Adria Arjona goes off on a rant at one point, and then kind of has to play it down.
Yeah.
And it's just done really, really well. As the girls start remembering, they start having their own flashbacks, and one of them starts fucking remembering, and she just, when she kills Haley Joel Osment, he's the first one to get killed.
Oh yeah,
man, it is vicious.
Brilliant.
Stabs him, in the fucking neck, and he goes to the pool. Is it a screwdriver? What is it? The fuck that she uses to
like an ice
pick
crusher?
Thing,
ice pick thing. Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking stabs a whole mess of times, and obviously hell's breaking loose now because all the girls are starting to remember what these pieces of shit have done to them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ramped up from being mystery stuff to full on action and fucking
turns into a horror film for the last 10 minutes. Just it's horrific.
And I think I didn't mind it. Like I didn't mind. I think that's one of the things. Like I think throughout it, I think she's handled the pacing of it really well. Like I know it ramps up now, but it was gonna have to at some point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was gonna have to hit that point where I think they had to relieve. And what would your reaction be?
And it's a natural progression. It's a natural progression of the story and narrative, and it makes perfect sense that it's just going to ramp up into this crazy crescendo. It's not like Long Legs or something where it's kind of plodding along and doing something, and then it's the last 10 minutes just kind of change tone and speed like ridiculously, and you're kind of going, okay, I feel like I'm in a different movie now. This just is naturally, you're just kind of going, this is going to go somewhere fucking awful, like very quickly. Yeah. And
I think I'm not sure if it's this point or before it as that they've kind of realized that it was the perfume that they've all been given is, it's made from these fucking plants that he's been shouting on about at the start. And but it's weird. It's like, this is the kind of part that bothered me, and it's like, that's the part that makes them forget, the plants, the perfume. But snake venom makes you remember.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? First of all, like, how did you discover that? Why is it on this island? How did you discover that that's how this works? It's just
the fact that like figuring out one of these things on an island would be like, oh, Jesus Christ. But the fact that there's two things on the island that just counteract each other perfectly is a bit like, it's kind of a bit kind of Hollywood. But I was confused a little bit what happens to Channing Tatum when
we get there.
Yeah. When he starts looking around, we get there. But there's a moment where I was like, what's happened to him? I didn't know. Like, has he taken? What chemical is affecting him, and is it affecting him in a different way? This is around the time I realized that I was going to be clamped. I wasn't paying that much attention. It's like, oh shit.
But again, yeah, like there's like that's the thing. Like how it's not totally clear how much and for how long it wipes your memory, because the girls all still seem to remember each other the next day. Like when they're all sitting around around the pool again, despite the fact that no one people are like, oh, who the fuck is Jess? But they all seem to remember.
Yeah,
each other from the day before.
Throwaway. I think there's a throwaway line in there somewhere, where someone says, "the worse it is, the more they forget," or something like that.
Right. Okay. The more worse the trauma is.
Yeah. So it's something like it's erasing the trauma, or you're forgetting the trauma, and it's like that's very, very fucking specific.
Yeah, it's like it's not. How do you find out exactly how much of this weird perfume? How do you know how much they're spraying on them? Are they getting enough that? And then how do you know the trauma is enough for X amount of hours? It's not. I would have preferred if they used a different, something different to show how they were making them forget. Just something different that way them completely forget. Right? And like in again in Get Out, you know, it's the camera flash is what brings back the person who's being down. And I mean, we see that it's a hypnotism thing that she's gotten down that makes them go down into the whatever they call it, the back end of their own mind, you know, and easy to control. And you know, it's something similar again with this. And but that and what Get Out one was actually pretty cool. Whereas this was a bit, I wish they had to use a different thing to explain why they're forgetting and then why they remember.
Yeah, because it's a little confusing, and it's even as potentially far fetched as it is, you could just use something else. He's a billionaire tech fucking big pharma guy or something. He just has, or he's testing out something, or he has some chemical that, you know, something that is not just, oh, these snakes do this and this perfume does this. Okay.
And that's it. They kind of like it. That's really that's one of the big things that bothered me. But this whole thing, as we said, it's gone bananas. They're all fucking. It's kicking off. The girls are attacking the guys. The some stuff is fucking hilarious. Like I should have mentioned, because I can't believe I've forgotten to mention him. And we're near the end of the movie. It's Christian Slater. Yeah. Who I absolutely adore, and it was great to see him in this. His character, because you see now again, if you were to think back on it, they're talking away, they're giving away little bits throughout the movie, like ask him how he lost his finger, ask him how this happened, and it's because
that's great.
You know, because in previous things, all this stuff, different things have happened to them, and so he gets fucking his head or his face smashed in, and fucking there's just different things happening the whole way through of fucking cool ass violence. The blonde stoner chick gets shot in the head by a security guard. Adria Arjona ends up fucking killing him. They kill the other girl, and then Frida ends up killing Gina because she remembers, but of course she doesn't want to remember. She purposely gets drugged because she knows her brother's up to all this kind of shit, and he's going to do it with or without her. So she prefers to get drugged. So she starts attacking the girls. Then you think that she's going to, God love her, she must be under his spell, but no, she actually wants to be, which is really cool as well. And she plays that well. She starts fucking freaking out. Don't see Gina Davis in enough stuff.
No, and she's looking good for 68 or something. She is 67, 68.
She's not that old, is she?
I think she was born in the 50s, isn't she? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, she looks amazing. Yeah.
55, 56 she was born. Yeah, she must be on her way to 70. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
Looking good.
Last thing I saw her in was The Exorcist TV show. She's in the first season of that, and she's really, really good. It's gone back a few years now. But yeah, so they as Gina's fucking running around, she ends up finding more Polaroids, and she finds that not only have they been doing this to them for this past week, 2 weeks, months, whatever, we don't know how long they're there, but they've actually been here on this island before. You can see in the Polaroids, you can see that there's actual photos of them here having the crack, and also horrible stuff happened to them as well on the island, which is even more terrifying, because I think at one point we can kind of see she has a scar on the side of her head, and he purposely asks her, you know, how did you get that scar?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. And, you know, in one of the flashes, we find that she was running away from him and she tripped and fucking banged her head, and that's how she got the fucking scar. But like it just shows
it's another great layer to that it's not just this horrific thing that's happened. It's just like, and it's kind of a cyclical thing where it's just like they've done it before, and how many times they've done it before. This is kind of a ritual thing that they go through. Fuck me.
And how much they push it, you know what I mean? Because he, like, you would, I think if you can shows that the kind of, I don't know, the hubris or whatever of these guys, that they've gotten away with it for so long that they're willing to make jokes about it, because they're like, well, fuck it, we can just drug them again later on, because he's talking about, ask him how he lost his finger. She hurt her head on a previous trip to this island when he was chasing her, and he right out asks her, how'd you get that scar in your head? Knowing full well that he was there when it happened. And saying, just
like, ask him how he lost his finger. And she's like, how did you lose your finger? And then you see like that she bit it off in a struggle in one of the previous things. It's just, that's very good.
But yeah, it's cool. And like you said, it adds that extra layer to it. And then at one point, he's about to, it's come to, most of them are fucking dead. And Slater King has Frida. And he's captured Sarah. He's tied her up. And he was about to slit Frida's, is it Frida's throat or Sarah's throat? Frida's throat. Sarah's throat, sorry. And then all of a sudden, he stops because he's after forgetting. And then it turns out what she's done is she's putting some of this perfume in this vape that he's been smoking throughout the movie. And he then fucking starts to forget. He doesn't know what's going on.
That's the part I was confused, because now it's just, is he forgetting trauma, or is he forgetting this stuff that he's obviously enjoyed doing to people?
Well, this is it. And that's what I was saying about how much is... That's what I was saying about how much does it take? Like, how much is he forgetting? Is he forgetting that he's a billionaire that brought these people to the island? Is he forgetting his friends? Or what does he actually forget? Because they've forgotten him completely, right? Because they don't remember meeting him. They don't remember coming to the island. You know, that's a lot, you know, and there's all... But yet...
Don't remember the good times, as well as the trauma.
They seem to remember the good times. So this fucking dirty scumbag, his good times are hurting people and raping people. So if that stuff is still going to remember it, then surely, you know, why is he forgetting what's going on? It was just, it's so hazy that I think they could have done this so much simpler, you know, in a different way. Yeah,
I think that extra bit with him forgetting is just, I know it adds another layer, and it's like, ooh, kind of how many levels deep do you go into this kind of thing? I thought it wasn't really necessary. And it just made me think a bit more about that scene, rather than just, it's building up so well at this point where you're just going, this is fucking absolute carnage, just descended into fucking mayhem, to then kind of go, well, what? Why is he forgetting that and not forgetting that? You know, it's just like, you don't need it. There's not enough explanation. There's more questions than answers when you introduce this with his character, I thought.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think so too, Daz. And then it starts to, we get it even more then, like you see that the place has gone up in flames, but she drags Slater out, and you know, she tells kind of Sarah that she has a plan, you know, Sarah's like, are you sure you want to do this? And she's like, yeah, I have a plan, blah, blah, blah. And then we cut to the future, and there's a whole other gala, and she's there all dolled up, and Slater is beside her, and it turns out she's controlling him. So they introduce her as the CEO of King Enterprises or whatever the fuck. But we see her giving him his vape again. You know, we see her with the little dropper in the vape. So she's smuggled a bunch of this fucking forgetting stuff off the island, and she's now controlling him. And it's her empire now, and it's like, that's her way of getting back at him, or what? I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know what the crack is, because obviously they're now married. Because they're married. They're married. You know what I mean? So she's making him forget. Does he not forget that he's married? Is he not remembering? You know, how come he's not remembering anything from the island about hurting people? But he does remember he's married to her. It's just there's no continuity there. There's no the rules of the forgetting and remembering are just not clear enough. And that's kind of, that really bugged me. I wish it had ended in a different way than it did. Now, I'm not saying it ended terribly. I just wish if we'd had a better idea of what was making them forget and remember, then maybe the ending would have made a little bit more sense. You know, like at the end, she reprograms him, and it's just done the once, and then they come home. You know, and that's fine. But she has to ongoingly keep making him forget with this dropper, with this making him vape, and it's just, how do we get to that point? We've obviously cut to the point where she's now married to him and running the company. So we don't know how. I'm not sure. Is it a couple of years ahead?
So she's living with this guy. This is how she gets back at him and gets revenge at him by marrying him, making him forget, but still living this billionaire lifestyle. And her thing is like, now she gets to live that billionaire lifestyle.
Is she fucking him? She's essentially is she date raping him then?
And that's the win. That's the win, is that she's now got power and money. And just like, it didn't really sit too well with me.
No, it was, and it's again, and essentially, if she is fucking him, then it's date rape, and like, I know what's happened to you is awful. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Like, date rape is wrong.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what's implied by it.
I think it's just trying to be a bit too clever for its own good. Where like, I love when movies aim that high, whether it's a high concept or whatever, or try and really pull the rug out from under you or add a few layers to something. And this is obviously maybe in the script form, it comes across really clever, but and it's not even the clunky direction or the way it's all tied up and filmed, and from a narrative point, it's grand, but it just doesn't quite make sense when you're watching it as to that being a believable outcome that you could do or would want to,
And that's it. Like, I get it. It's the same once again. Like very much like a Jordan Peele movie. Rich white guys are the bad guys. And that's very evident. Where everything that goes on, all the guys in the island are all fucking douchebags. Who are loaded, and everybody at that gala is as well. And that's kind of just the way it is. These fucking people who just have the power, have the money, think they can do whatever they want with whoever they want, and they get their comeuppance. And like, it's, for the most part, man, it's an enjoyable movie. It really is. But it just, the vagueness of how they're, which is a very central to the movie.
Absolutely.
And the ending bothered me. But for the most part, it was tight. Like, when it finished, I was like, yeah, man, it was well shot. The music is fantastic. Performances are great. It looks incredible. She really has that fucking style nailed down. We'll see if she does something different if she takes on a project that isn't a mystery horror. If she takes on something else different, we'll see what does her style change a little bit. But I enjoyed it. Like, I definitely would recommend it.
Yeah, 100%. Echo everything you said there. She's director to watch, but performances wise, it was brilliant, and I definitely think it was more. I'd say not that it wouldn't be as enjoyable if I saw the trailer, but it definitely not had me on the edge of my seat. But I was intrigued all the way.
Kept you guessing.
Yeah, just kind of going, where's this going? And even when kind of the plot was kind of laid out, it was still, I hadn't seen those clips you'd see from a trailer, in the last 30 seconds, 10 seconds of a trailer of a kill or something like that, or a very pivotal moment that was coming. I had no fucking idea where it was going in terms of, like, visually or scenes or choices or anything. And it was just all let down is the wrong word, but just took me out of it a little when the rules of the world and the rules of the drugs that they're taking are not clear enough. Yeah, that was a bit kind of like, that's a bit clunky. But Channing Tatum, fucking great,
Channing
man.
Tatum, man. Fucking, he's excellent.
He has that one scene where he's saying sorry, and he's like, he keeps saying sorry to her over and over again and screaming it, and it's just going, it's the best fucking 10 seconds he's acted in his life. Just kind of going, you need to do more of this shit, man. He's got some acting chops. He's fucking brilliant.
And did you see that scene they released from the Deadpool and Wolverine?
No, I didn't actually. I saw that. Yeah,
basically Gambit, the aftermath of that big fucking battle, and after Eliath come fucking rushing in and all the rest of it, and Gambit is actually still standing. You just see it's all fucking dudes dead around him. He kind of looks back, get a look at the camera and a smile. So it's like, really, won't he? But he's great, man. I love Channing Tatum. Like, he's. I know it started out as he was just the hunky dude for the fucking women to look at, and that's kind of, you kind of worry, would he get typecast and that kind of stuff? But he's such a funny bloke, and he's a great actor.
He's really good.
He's got some great comic timing. Yeah, it's a fun movie, and we both recommend it. And next week's one will be the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that, Phil. That was great. Yeah, really enjoyable movie. 3-star, but a very good 3-star. Definitely catch it on the big screen or small screen. Okay, so that is an end to this week's podcast. Thanks a million to everybody for liking and sharing as every week. And we will be back next week with, I guess we'll just do Borderlands and just lock it in.
Fuck it. Yeah.
So, yeah, fucking hell. Looking forward to that. Okay, catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, guys.